Hello, friends. I have the green screen up behind me because I was just filming something else, but I figured as long as I have my camera and stuff out, I may as well rant about something that I just wanted to get across to others because I don't think most people have a clear understanding of this. So around 9 or 10 years ago, there was a YouTuber who I think his name was Dawa Man. He's not around anymore. He was a British Muslim guy, and he put out a video that it didn't exactly go viral, but I did see it got some attention, and some people did see it and make fun of it. But a lot of people probably don't remember it. It was well, there's no getting around this. He basically says in that video that if God isn't real, then you should drink your dad's sperm. And I'm really not joking when I say that. That's what he says in that video.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Why on earth do you look so grossed out for? On atheism, there's nothing wrong with drinking your dad's sperm. There is no consequences, morally speaking, according to you guys, because it's not harming anyone and there's no risk. And secondly speaking, sperm's got nutritional value. So go drink your dad's sperm, man. What are you waiting for?
Now, that's a very weird thing for him to say. He was basically saying that, like, morality obviously comes from God, so obviously God is real, because if God isn't real, then morality wouldn't exist, and you would be drinking your dad's sperm. But, like, the correct response to that, which I saw some people make, is that there's a difference between something being immoral and something just being fucking gross. Like, those aren't the same thing. However, to conservatives, particularly religious conservatives, they are the same thing. Like, their entire moral compass is based on the idea of, this is gross, therefore it is evil. Like, they don't have any thoughts beyond that. Like, they think something is gross, and then post hoc they go back in their mind and try to justify it. Like, that's why they practice things like homophobia and transphobia, because, and also why homophobia is mostly aimed at gay men rather than gay women, because, you know, when they see two dudes kissing, they think, ew, but when they see two ladies kissing, they think that's hot. Transphobia is mostly aimed at trans women because, well, they're a bit more visible, and seeing that just makes conservatives uncomfortable, and they feel a little grossed out by it. And, like, what I'm saying here is that their entire moral compass is based on that. Their entire sense of morality, such as it is, because they tend to be extremely hypocritical, is all based on that. If it's gross, then it's fine. If it's not gross, then... Or, excuse me, if it's gross, it's not fine. If it's not gross, then it's good, it's fine, it's great. And while this is where conservatives' entire sense of morality comes from, it's not exclusive to them. You know, I do see other people across the political spectrum doing this sometimes, and I just want to encourage people to, like, you know, try and examine your own thought processes and examine why you think something is right or wrong before you jump into it, because I see a lot of people, again, just using the disgust argument, you know, it's gross, therefore it's immoral. Like, no, it's not that simple, guys. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that I personally think is weird and kind of gross, but is not bad. You know, and especially when in regards to anything sexual, people do this a lot. Like, I don't know, I think anything to do with buttholes is gross. You know, eating ass, anal sex, I find that really gross. Other people find it hot, and you know what? More power to you. Just don't expect me to do it. But there are a lot of people who think it's gross and then go on about how God says it's wrong, it's sodomy. Around, like, I think it was like 25 years ago at this stage, there's an old Bill Maher stand-up routine, and brief aside, yeah, I'm not super into Bill Maher anymore. He has just become even more of a cranky old man than he always was. But you gotta understand that in the 90s and early 2000s, he was standing up for, like, gay rights and personal freedoms and such. And that was in a time where you could actually lose your job and be ostracized from Hollywood for doing that, and he still did it. So, you know, I think we should at least appreciate him for that much. But anyways, he has this stand-up routine where he's talking about how, yeah, he thinks men having sex is gross because he's not gay, but he doesn't want his opinion to be made into the law. Like, he doesn't think it's wrong. He just thinks it's gross personally. So, like, again, like, being grossed out by men having sex or men kissing or something, that's not inherently homophobic. Like, that's just the way your brain is wired. Like, there's nothing wrong with you if you feel that way, but there is something wrong once you start trying to, dictate other people's lives and impose on their personal freedoms and impose on their personal lives. And then we can enter the realm of anime, which was a mistake. Just ask Hayao Miyazaki. Anime was a mistake. It belongs in the trash. I'm sorry, you can't see on camera. I was pointing to my trash can over there. But anime, how do I put this? It is very weird on the subject of minors, like sexualizing minors, particularly underage girls. And I know that the age of consent in Japan is 16, and they just have, at the end of the day, their culture is very different than ours. But there's just way too many anime, and not even like porn and stuff. I'll get more into that in a minute. But like, there's way too many normal anime, or mostly normal anime, that have girls who are like 15, 16 years old who are ridiculously sexualized. Like, they show off half of their boobs all the time, and sometimes they just straight up show them naked. And that makes me uncomfortable. That's like a big part of why I don't really watch anime anymore, is because that kind of stuff is just all over. And when I was younger, when I was like 17, 18, I could just squint past that a little bit, but as I've gotten older, I can't really do it anymore. So it does gross me out a little bit, but is it immoral? Well, not really, because, I mean, it's a drawing. It's not real. Like, if it was real underage kids that were being, filmed that way, then yeah, I would say that's exploiting them quite a bit, and we shouldn't do that. That's bad. But it's a drawing. It's not a real person, so it's fine. And you can see more extremes of this in hentai, which I've never been into hentai. Even back when I was into anime, I wasn't into hentai. I'm only attracted to 3D people. Sorry to disappoint any of you. But hentai is full of, like, really weird, fucked up shit. It's got, again, underage people, but they look kind of adults, so it's, like, a little weird. But then they also just have straight up lolly and shota stuff, which is underage kids that look like underage kids, or look prepubescent, or sometimes they go out and do something where it's like, oh, well, technically she's a 3,000-year-old vampire, but she hasn't aged since she turned, so she just looks like she's 12. They've also got, like, a lot of rape and non-consensual stuff. They've got just really weird fetishes, like putting objects inside of a woman that are so big you can actually see it bulge in her stomach. There's, like, bestiality. There's tentacle porn. Well, I guess tentacle porn would technically be bestiality when you think about it. But there's a lot of fucked up shit in there. And, again, if it was, like, really filming underage kids, or if it really was filming people having sex with animals or something, I would say, yeah, that is fucked up. That shouldn't exist. But as it stands now, like, no one's being hurt by it. That's the thing. Like, it's gross. I want it to stay far away from me. I think most of you will agree with me on that. But like, you see people go on about how it is immoral and it should be illegal, and it's exactly the same as, or like when we're talking about lolly and shota stuff, they say it's exactly the same as real child sexual abuse material, and okay, we can think it's gross and weird, or hell, you can even think it's immoral without thinking it's in the same fucking universe as that shit. Because again, like, one of them is real people, real kids being abused, the other one is drawings. Like, it's not great. Again, like, I want to emphasize this. It's gross. Please keep it away from me. But we shouldn't base our entire moral code on what we think is gross and what we don't. Because, again, when you do that, you're doing the same thing conservatives do, where it's just, okay, I find it gross, let's backtrack and find a justification for why I think it's gross. Like, you can just say, it's gross, I don't like it, keep it away from me, without thinking it's immoral. But I want to reiterate, this is like 95% a conservative thing. Like they are the ones who do this far, far more than anybody else. It's just, I do see it other places as well. And so I'm encouraging everyone to like, hey, examine yourselves, examine your peers, and make sure you keep track of your own thought processes, because I think it's really easy to fall into this trap. Like, you dislike something, therefore it is bad and immoral. And that's just not always the case. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. And that's something that you really need to think over some more. So I would not encourage you to drink your dad's sperm, but I guess that's not immoral if you're both cool with it. And that's all. Goodbye.